Respect to the Wicked. Published by Battle for Dream Island Wiki. Fandom. Respect to the Wicked is the 16th episode of Battle for Dream Island again, the 41 episode in universe, and the 86th episode overall. It was released on December 1, 2024, at 10 hours 49 minutes and 7 seconds AM, GMT 8 o'clock. Characters. Main. Balloony, host. Free Smart. Needle, Free Smart. WOAH Bunch. Pin, Bommy, eliminated. Needle, WOAH Bunch. Minor. Wheat Trembling Fortress. Golf Ball. List of historical objects. Racket. Cameo. Foldy, as recommended character. Plot. Cold Open. The episode begins with the Lol approaching the Coliseum while Balloony thanks everyone for their good behavior. All the other characters within the Lol, except Black Hole, have been trapped and or gagged with adhesive tape. Balloony asks them if they think his new string looks nice, to which they silently shake their heads to say yes. Balloony is happy at how nice they are. Meanwhile, inside the birdhouse, Bommy, Book, Coiny, Fries, Needle, Nickel, Tennis Ball, and Pencil have fun playing with gold atoms. Pin, who is much smaller than the others, gets angry, complaining that they forgot her. Tennis Ball then warns Fries that combining 2 gold atoms is dangerous, but Fries doesn't care and tapes his mouth shut using tape. Bommy is, meanwhile, happy about the elimination of distractions done by Fries and adds that the atoms are fun. However, Fries and Pencil throw an atom at each other, which causes the 2 atoms to bond together and explode, causing the golden drop that the contestants are inside of to launch itself into the sky. Coincidentally, the droplet lands on the Lol window, interrupting a dancing Balloony. Balloony sees the drop of gold hitting the window, to which he brings his eye so close to the drop of gold that it ends up entering his eye. He shouts out of ardor, but forgets about it when he sees the contestants, who are now inside his eye. Bommy is surprised that Balloony can see them. Balloony then begins to name parts of his eye that can be examined closely by the smaller contestants, like his pupil and optic nerve. Tennis Ball, hearing about the latter, wants to dissect it with a scalpel. However, Balloony stops him worriedly, reminding him that it is time for cake at stake, something that Tennis Ball reluctantly accepts, tossing the scalpel away. Cake at Stake. After the Cake at Stake intro plays, Cake gets stabbed by Tennis Ball's scalpel and frowns. Since the hearts entered the birdhouse, they are safe from elimination. Balloony asks the others who they think got the prize among them. Book replies that she thinks she got the prize once again, to which Balloony replies is wrong. He then asks TV to reveal the likes, but Book points out they can't see due to TV's screen being covered in tape. Coiny then reminds Book that they could simply reach out through Balloony's eye and rip off the duct tape from TV, revealing that Tennis Ball won the prize with 45,550 likes. Tennis Ball responds happily that he won the prize and spins the prize wheel, which lands on the section labeled obelisk, causing an obelisk to appear. Tennis Ball says he will treasure it for as long as he lives, and Needle comments that it looks like a giant version of her. Balloony asks everyone if he's a good host, but is interrupted by Tennis Ball, who then asks what happened to the other lullers. Balloony replies that in the last few challenges, with everyone hosting, the challenges were too chaotic, so with only one host, the show is much more controllable, to which Pillow shakes her head, releasing dust. The dust enters Balloony's eye, which prompts him to close both eyes out of discomfort. Pencil realizes that the contestants will soon be crushed. Nickel tells Tennis Ball to build reinforcements, which ultimately fails, crushing the contestants to death. Later, Balloony recovers them. Every contestant is returned to regular size, Pin and Pencil lose their monochromatic color scheme, and Nickel loses the hole punched into his face. Needle asks where her amoeba friends are, and Nickel complains that he liked his square hole. Fries offers to help Nickel, but inadvertently carves a triangular hole instead of a square one. Nickel then bites Fries' arm, complaining that the hole isn't a square. The contestants are later transported to the Coliseum again for Cake at Stake. Balloony seems bummed out that the contestants didn't like swimming in his eye, to which Needle angrily scolds him, reminding him to move on with the elimination. Balloony agrees, revealing that the cake is rice. Tennis Ball is excited, believing that the cake is a rice cake, but Balloony quickly corrects him. The cake is a single grain of rice due to budget cuts being especially harsh this year. Balloony tells Pencil, Coiny and Fries to politely step up and grab pieces of the rice grain, to which they agree, albeit mocking the other contestants as they eat. Tennis Ball, annoyed, tells them that they don't have to rub it in, as he's hungry too. Balloony tells him to get ready to feast, as he is revealed to have gotten the fewest dislikes. Tennis Ball eats his part of the cake, to which he seems unsatisfied. Coiny smugly tells Fries that Tennis Ball is not a fan of the rice grain. Balloony declares Needle, Nickel and Book next safe, and they are fed their pieces of the rice grain with a syringe by Tennis Ball. Pin and Bommy are revealed to be the bottom two, to which they both complain as they both had their mobility restricted. Pin from Get in the Van to Pointy Pointy Pointy, and Bommy in Spore Day. The votes are revealed, revealing that Bommy is eliminated by about 3,000 dislikes. Coiny celebrates Pin as the last one safe, while Bommy states that he'll miss WOAH bunch, minus Needle, on his way out. Coiny and Pin reply with an awkward, see you, I guess. Bommy is flung away to the WTF as Nickel excitedly waves him goodbye. Bommy lands in the WTF atop all of Ruby's sisters, who have been stuffing up and overcrowding the WTF while drowning everyone else inside. Bommy chuckles, thinking he's going to be exempt from being drowned by Ruby's sisters, but Golf Ball drags him inside by force. Team switching. The final 8 take a helicopter ride back to Goiki, where Pencil tells Book that she's broken her personal record of 9th in BFDI. Pin butts in, bragging that she beat her 20th place record over a year prior before realizing that 20th place is not impressive at all. Coiny tells Pin otherwise, and he and the rest of the Hearts celebrate Pin beating her record, much to Pin's annoyance. Afterwards, Coiny suggests for the Hearts to stay together as he thinks they make a good team, but the idea is scrapped once Coiny suggests inviting Pin, with Pencil returning to Free Smart, Coiny returning to WOAH Bunch, and Fries returning to No One. Tennis Ball eagerly offers Fries to reunite Team No Name, which Fries declines. Tennis Ball then turns to Needle, suggesting a quasi-Rombi pact. Needle is about to accept until Pencil calls her over with the rest of Free Smart. Needle tells Tennis Ball she has other obligations. Coiny does the same as Pencil, calling all WOAH bunchers to the spot, realizing his team only has 3 people, him, Pin and Nickel. Coiny wonders why his team has gotten so small, and Pin excitedly replies that it's going to get smaller, as she tells Nickel to go away. After Nickel leaves, Coiny scolds Pin, saying her choice was very disadvantageous, which Pin justifies by her not liking Nickel very much. Coiny lets out a whatever, and begs Needle to switch back to WOAH Bunch. Needle hesitates, to which Pin convinces her that just by switching, she can become a full member. Needle considers the option, until Pencil angrily accuses her of wanting to switch, questioning her loyalty to Free Smart. Coiny interrupts, telling Pencil that Needle was a WOAH buncher since the start, which prompts Tennis Ball, who is a few feet away, to interrupt by stating that she was on Team No Name first. After a few seconds of silence, Coiny and Pencil keep fighting over Needle, trying to convince her to not switch. After some time, Coiny asks Needle which team she's going to choose to be on. Needle starts sweating akin to what was seen in Insectophobe's Nightmare 3 Inches, before choosing to be on both teams at once, a first in the history of BFDI. Coiny, Pin, Pencil and Book look unimpressed, with the latter telling Needle that she's definitely going to be up for elimination this episode. Coiny says he's glad they kinda got the needy back, provoking Needle to slap him across the face. Pencil says that only she can call Needle needy, causing her to get slapped as well. Nickel yodels, asking who wants to make a team with him. Everyone steps away from him, causing him to reflect on his loneliness. Balloony asks if they're all done switching teams, to which everyone screams an excited, yeah. Balloony tells them to spin the wheel to choose the next contest. Nickel does so, and the wheel lands on Scavenger Tag. Explanation of the challenge. Book, confused, asks Balloony how Scavenger Tag works. He explains the contest, instructing that first, every team must choose a valuable trinket. Tennis Ball chooses his obelisk, WOAH Bunch chooses Coiny's dirt cake, Free Smart chooses their supervan, Nickel chooses his triangular chunk, and Fries pulls out a balloon out of nowhere to pass as his trinket. Balloony then tells each team to hide their trinkets somewhere secret. Tennis Ball and Free Smart question their choices of trinkets, but Balloony implies they can't change their trinkets, claiming that his ears don't hear complaining. Each team goes on to hide their trinket, and Balloony explains the goal of the contest, tagging other teams' trinkets to eliminate them with hands and feet only, to which Pin gives Balloony an aggravated look, having only wheels. Balloony counts down from 5 and the contest starts. Challenge. Pin is shown panicking and calling for her team, asking where they think Free Smart's trinket is, and Coiny cynically replies that it's behind a nearby tree. Pin calls Nickel, Tennis Ball, Fries and Needle to tag them out, and they all agree as Free Smart looks distraught. As they're all getting closer, Pencil catches the van and throws it to Book, who slowly panics before pulling a tennis racket out of her pages and passing it back to Pencil. They pass it back and forth for a while with the others as Monkey in the middle. Book suggests driving away the van instead of tossing it, to which Pencil agrees. She and Book step in the van. Needle is about to jump in too, but Pencil stops her, as she thinks Needle will tag them out as a WOAH buncher. Needle thinks for a second and places a pink sticky note on her head resembling Pencil's eraser, explaining that when she's wearing it, she's playing for Free Smart. Pencil reluctantly lets Needle in as they drive away, with Coiny and Pin believing she is still playing for WOAH bunch. Nickel, who was on top of the van somehow, notices Fry's balloon pass by him. He decides to jump for it, missing it in the process. Coiny suggests he and Pin go for one of the solo teams, as he believes Needle is sabotaging Free Smart. Pin replies that it shouldn't be too hard to find Tennis Ball's obelisk, and wonders where he could have hidden it. The scene cuts to Tennis Ball sitting awkwardly in front of a giant pile of dirt with a fridge on top of it. Nickel is seen still chasing after the balloon, stepping on Tennis Ball's head in the process. As for Fries, he's plucking batches of dirt off the ground, asking Coiny if any of them are his dirt cake. Coiny tells Fries that his dirt cake tastes a lot better than all the other clumps of dirt and that he's going to have to taste test them all to find out before walking away. Fries turns to Tennis Ball and tells him to dig, as the dirt cake is probably underground. Tennis Ball refuses, as he is watching the naturally occurring hill behind him. Fries asks again, only for Tennis Ball to decline the offer again and tell Fries his strategy of asking over and over is not going to work, and that if he wants to dig, then he should do it himself. They give each other angry glares before Fries agrees and starts digging, putting clumps of dirt into his mouth with a shovel and spitting them out. This goes on for some time. Meanwhile, as they see Free Smart's van in the difference, Coiny accepts the fact Needle is not playing for them anymore. Pin tells Coiny that they have to catch that van and orders him to grab onto her back. As he does, Pin activates her rockets and zooms towards the van. Tennis Ball lets out a sigh of satisfaction as he realizes everyone's gone their own different way. He notices Fries a few feet away and decides to mockingly ask him how his dig is going, rubbing in the fact that Nickel is after his trinket. Fries retaliates by throwing dirt at Tennis Ball's face, cutting him off. Needle worriedly warns her team that WOAH bunch is on their tail, as Pencil says they can't drive forever and they need a spot to hide the van. Needle points out Pin's mech suit can't go underwater, so they should hide it there. Pencil thinks that's a great idea and asks Book if she knows any places with a lot of water with a forced smile. Book suggests the desert, causing Pencil to frown in disappointment as she was thinking of throwing the van in the 500-mile-wide Goiki Canal. Book opens herself up, revealing herself to be a geography textbook, pointing out that there's a big oasis in the desert, making Pencil smile again. Needle asks how far away it is, and Book tells her that it's incredibly far away and they'll run out of gasoline before they're even close. Pencil frowns in impatience, frustrated with Book's incompetence, until Book mentions that there's a gas station on the way and they can definitely get there with a few tanks. With another forced smiles, Pencil asks if the oasis is the only location with lots of water she knows, but Book replies with an excited, nope. Pencil frowns for a third time, now of secondhand embarrassment, as Book does a victory jig in the back of the van. The scene cuts to Fries, who has now dug down to Earth's lower mantle. The ground collapses before him, causing him to land in an underground cave. Fries starts eating and spitting out the cave's radioactive substances, believing it's regular dirt, causing his body to emit azure bioluminescence. The scene cuts again, this time to Nickel, who's cruising by recommended characters in chase of Fry's red balloon. Nickel catches the balloon with his mouth, but gets dragged down and tied by the hole to a larger bundle of other balloons who only differ from Fry's balloon in terms of color. In the evil forest and the cornfield, Pin and Coiny are shown running after Free Smart's van. From the van's inside, Book comments on how the cornfield gives her road trip vibes. Pencil agrees and excitedly turns on the radio, only for a screeching noise to play from it. Pencil immediately turns off the radio and asks Needle to sing for them instead, but she emits the same screeching sound for a split second before they run into a fork in the road. Book asks if they should go to the forest of cutlery or the pleasant peachy paradise, to which Pencil asks where she thinks they'll go. They crash into the middle of the cornfield, with Pencil admitting that they're not going to either and Book telling Pencil to avoid the corn. Pencil swerves through the corn, causing the front window to crash. Coiny and Pin are still trailing behind the van as the latter turns on her jets, causing the corn to heat up and produce popcorn. Tennis Ball is shown at the same spot after the scene cuts, doing some thinking of his own. He determines that since Nickel is after Fry's trinket, Fry's is looking for WOAH Bunch's trinket and WOAH Bunch is chasing down Free Smart, he should go hunt for Nickel's trinket. He pulls out a detector from out of the blue, which indicates that Nickel's trinket is a meter away. Tennis Ball figures this is incredibly close, and excitedly sprints around the area as the detector keeps reading, 1 meter away. Nickel is shown afterwards, floating through the skies tied to a bundle of balloons. He reflects about how at peace he feels, right until he heads straight into an oncoming storm. Coiny and Pin are showing chasing after the van, still in the cornfield. Pin motivates Coiny, telling him he's doing great as he's incredibly close to tagging the van. Both teams make a pit stop at the gas station. Book is fixing the van's mirror, Pencil is loading a few tanks of gasoline into the van, Needle's buying snacks and food insane, Coiny's drinking gasoline and Pin is waiting for Coiny to finish. As Needle exits the store, the van immediately drives away, leaving Coiny and Pin befuddled. As they traverse through the cornfield, Pencil says she's tired of seeing corn and asks Book where the desert is, so she tells her to make a right, landing them in the desert, the same one from It's a Monster. Needle complains about the heat, making Pencil turn on the AC and send Needle flying out of the back of the van on accident. While Book laments this, Pencil exclaims that the member to non-member ratio just improved. Needle lands in a bunch of corn cobs which Pin and Coiny also crash into. Coiny complains about them losing Free Smart, and Pin calls Needle a traitor, akin to Bommy the episode prior. Needle exclaims she isn't a traitor, replacing her pink sticky note based on Pencil's eraser with a purple one resembling Pin's body, symbolizing the fact she is playing for WOAH Bunch. Pin accepts this, and asks Needle where the Free Smarters have gone. Needle tells her they went to the Oasis, causing Coiny to chuckle and call Needle a terrible Free Smarter, earning him a slap to the face from her. The scene cuts to Fry's, who is exclaiming that he loves digging, before finding Evil Leafy in the shallow hole he's started to dig inside the cave. Fry's covers the hole, telling Evil Leafy to go away in disgust. Evil Leafy teleports out of the hole Fry's trapped her in, which makes Fry's allow her to stay as long as she doesn't distract him from his digging. Evil Leafy teleports between Fry's and the new hole he is digging, causing him to yell at her between gritted teeth that what she did is very distracting. Fry's switches to his other hole, and when Evil Leafy teleports between him and that hole as well, causing Fry's to exclaim that he must be having the worst day ever. Meanwhile, in the sky, Nickel is being struck by lightning over and over as he screams in pain. Pencil and Book arrive at the Oasis in their van. Pencil tries to push the van in the Oasis, but it's too heavy. She calls for Needle, completely ignoring Book in front of her. Needle switches from her purple sticky note back to her pink one before hopping off of Pin to help Pencil. Pin questions why she and Coiny were carrying her with them this whole time. Needle pushes without a fuss, only realizing Book was still in the van when it was too late. Needle lets out a shy, oopsie, as Pin and Coiny land at the Oasis, demanding to know where the van is. Pencil mockingly asks them if wouldn't they like to know, but Needle switches sticky notes again and snitches, telling them it's in the Oasis. Coiny thanks Needle as he dives in. Pencil looks annoyed with Needle as Pin tells Pencil their dirt cake is all the way back at the starting location, in Goiki. Pencil then orders Needle to chuck her all the way back to Goiki, and Needle switches to her pink sticky note and does it without hesitation. Pin gives Needle a stern scolding for guiding Pencil to their unguarded trinket, calling her untrustworthy and saying she's out of her mind. Needle cuts Pin off by hopping on her back, agreeing to guard it. A few seconds later, Pencil lands back in Goiki, crashing against the naturally occurring hill Tennis Ball was guarding. Pencil questions if it's his trinket, to which Tennis Ball replies with an unsure, no. Needle and Pin arrive shortly after, and Needle, switching her sticky notes, tells Pencil the dirt cake is in the fridge all atop the dirt pile. Pin calls Needle useless, but Pencil tells Needle a promotion might be in the works as Needle boosts her up. Pin orders Needle to stop Pencil, and she does so with her purple sticky note by throwing dirt at Pencil's face. Pencil terminates Needle's promotion, as both her and Pin tell Needle not to let the other one up. Needle listens, switching teams back and forth as she alternates between tossing dirt at Pin and Pencil's faces with Tennis Ball looking unamused at the event. The Free Smart Supervan has also been driven down to Earth's lower mantle by Book, as Koini chases after it. Book stops once she's in the cave, revealing she doesn't know how to drive and crashing Koini into a wall. Back in the Goiki overworld, Pencil realizes this cycle of throwing dirt she, Pin and Needle have going is getting them all nowhere, and Tennis Ball offers Pencil to help him look for Nickel's trinket instead. Tennis Ball says he thinks the detector must be broken, but is cut off by Pencil, who yanks it from him and uses it to bring the dirt pile down, crushing Needle and Pin. Pencil now has easy access to the fridge. Pin, buried under rubble, tells Needle to save her. Needle questions whether the dirt cake is more important, and Pin complains, offended that Needle sees her as sub-dirt level. Koini is still rolling after the Free Smart van underground. Inside it, Book reaches Fry's location, initially scared to run him over before mistaking him for a glowing blue blob. Book stops the van to identify the substance she has mistaken Fry's for as the Noctiluca yoilian, a parasitic fungus from Yoil invasive to the Goiki region. Book hits the accelerator to hit Fry's, as the latter is still digging. With his shovel, Fry's unknowingly launches the supervan up in the air like it's nothing and then confusedly asks what that was before Koini rolls towards Fry's and slices his face open. As Book zooms upwards, Pencil is reaching to tag the dirt cake which fell off the fridge when the Free Smart supervan is headed to crush her. Needle notices this and immediately shields Pencil from it, saving both her and Book's lives. Pencil and Book cheer for Needle, until Pin reminds them that Needle was playing for WOAH Bunch when she grabbed the van, meaning that their team loses and is UFE. As Balloony confirms this, Pencil and Book do the same dance for Needle, changing the lyric from, yay, you saved us, to, boo, you failed us. Pin gently pushes Needle, causing her to drop the van on top of Book and Pencil, killing them both. Pin congratulates a horrified Needle, saying that she can now focus fully on playing for WOAH Bunch now that the Free Smarters are both dead. Meanwhile, in the underground cave, Koini apologizes to Fry's for injuring him, but also points out that he's glowing. Fry's takes this as a compliment, making Koini roll his eyes and ask him what he's doing down here. Fry's answers that he's looking for his dirt cake, which makes Koini laugh at Fry's for thinking he put it in a cave and say that his brain must be infected by that glowing gunk, if he thinks that. Fry's frowns, and then Koini asks how they can get out of here. Things only worsen as Koini spots Evil Leafy in the cave and runs in circles in a panic. Fry's stops Koini and tells him to show some respect to the wicked and vile, proclaiming Evil Leafy as his best friend and saying she's chill. Fry's is shown getting possessed by Evil Leafy in front of a disturbed Koini for half a second before the scene cuts. Needle asks Pin what they should do now that Free Smart is out, and Tennis Ball interrupts by suggesting the two help him tag Nickel out, as he thinks his detector is broken. Pin instead decides to tag Tennis Ball out, with Needle agreeing as they both plunge into the dirt looking for Tennis Ball's trinket while he looks nervous in the few frames he appears during this montage. As Pin asks where the obelisk is after she and Needle are unsuccessful in finding it, Tennis Ball laughs evilly as he bounces around, telling them they've been tricked. Tennis Ball claims he would never hide his treasured obelisk in a pile of dirt, saying it's far too valuable to be treated like that. Tennis Ball also excitedly proclaims that now he also knows where WOAH Bunch's trinket is, as Pin cuts him off in disinterest. Tennis Ball insults Pin, saying she was a lot nicer when she didn't have a face. He turns around and storms off, revealing Nickel's trinket was taped to Tennis Ball's back all this time. Pin and Needle dash after it as if on command, making Tennis Ball panic and run faster, as he believes they are chasing him for whatever reason. Coiny crawls his way up on all fours, announcing his arrival and protecting their trinket in his hand. Pin tells Coiny to catch that ball. Coiny trips him over, making him fall into the hole. Pin specifies that she wanted Coiny to catch him, as Coiny analyzes his mistake. Tennis Ball lands directly on top of Fries, knocking Evil Leafy out of him before bouncing back up. Coiny gives the team's trinket to Needle, telling her to not let anyone tag it as Pin exclaims that they trust her. Needle tells them to not worry as she's guarding their trinket safe and sound, but Tennis Ball grabs her from behind, dragging her into the hole as well. Down in the cave, Fries is complaining about Evil Leafy's taste when the dirt cake falls directly into his hand, causing Balloony to disqualify WOAH Bunch. Fries is about to eat the dirt cake, until Needle stabs it by falling on it. He complains about this, saying that he's gonna starve now, before Tennis Ball lands on top of him again, this time so hard he brings Fries up with him, leaving Needle alone with Evil Leafy. In a, presumably, unsuccessful attempt to save herself, Needle offers Evil Leafy the dirt cake before the screen turns to black. As Fries and Tennis Ball exit the hole, Pin looks disgusted at Fries' azure look, calling him a hideous beast, before Fries asks if she's finally looked in a mirror. Tennis Ball laughs, proclaiming WOAH Bunch's savagery ends here. As Pin starts to speak, Tennis Ball shuts her up, saying he didn't know why they were after him, but that they were finally out and couldn't interfere with the challenge any longer. Fries asks which teams are still remaining, and Tennis Ball answers that just the solos are still in the game, them and Nickel. Tennis Ball says he hasn't been able to track Nickel's trinket down, and Pin finally says that it's taped to his back, and that's why they were chasing him. Tennis Ball lets out an ooh of realization before blaming Pin for not telling him anything earlier. Coiny asks Tennis Ball where his trinket is, and Tennis Ball replies that isn't behind a nearby tree. Tennis Ball strains to touch Nickel's trinket, and once unsuccessful, he asks Fries to do it. Before Fries can do anything though, Balloony declares him out. Fries looks confused before being struck by lightning and dying. Tennis Ball, alarmed, asks who got him out, as Nickel makes his appearance, announcing that he finally got Fries' trinket. Nickel tells everyone he harnessed the power of the storm via static electricity before sending down ray after ray of lightning. Nickel jumps around with his balloons while at ground level. Pin drives away as Tennis Ball and Coiny run in circles out of panic. Tennis Ball asks him what they should do, and Coiny tells Tennis Ball to tag him out before he gets tagged. As another bolt strikes and kills Coiny, Tennis Ball says he isn't worried, as while everyone else was busy looking for trinkets to tag, he built a protective layer around his obelisk made of tungsten, and tempered glass. As Tennis Ball says he's confident Nickel won't tag his obelisk, the latter shoots out a third bolt, destroying the obelisk and its protective layer. As Tennis Ball clarifies that the challenge is to tag the obelisk rather than destroying it, Nickel jumps down to ground level and tags a piece of rubble Tennis Ball's obelisk left behind. Nickel wins the challenge, and everyone else is up for elimination. Stinger. Tennis Ball is seen poking at Fries' remains with a stick. Then, Nickel walks up and tries to lick one of his bioluminescent fries. However, due to the Noctiluca Eulian Fries had consumed, he reforms and comes back to life, startling both Tennis Ball and Nickel. Fries, on the other hand, is completely unfazed by his own resurrection, simply uttering, whatever. Prizes. Obelisk, chosen. Your own marketable plushie. 72 corn dogs. The power of flight. TB family reunion. An arch nemesis. $1,870,488,871. Move in 60 FPS. Become 2% fuzzier. Challenges. Jump the highest. High wire tightrope. Blinking contest. Find a UFO. Scavenger tag. Chosen. Cow tipping. Dance contest. Build a 5-star restaurant. Race through the woods. Challenge progression. Credits. Created by Carrie Huang, Michael Huang. Written by Carrie Huang, Joseph Pak, Anthony Aceto. Directed by Joseph Pak. Storyboarding Anthony Aceto, Carson C., Pancakes and Butter. Daniel Adam Valle, Florence Chappelle, Taffymarzi. Xander Archibald, Zananer. Audio Benjamin Cross, Braden Whiteside, Daniel Booth, Griffin Weber, Ian Woodside, Taffymarzi. Voice processing Benjamin Cross. Props, backgrounds Aiden L. Ade, Anthony Aceto, Carson C., Pancakes and Butter. Joseph Pak, Laszlo T., Top Hat the Hat. L. Madbro, Xander Archibald, Zananer. Recommended characters Laszlo T., Top Hat the Hat. L. Madbro, Xander Archibald, Zananer. Animation Aiden L. Ade, Aiden Gomez, Alem Hadjich, Anthony Aceto, Brannon C., Bran Flakes, Chelsea Winters, Wugolo, Christopher Ye, Dane Trent, Whoop Doo, Daniel Adam Valle, Don Shimizu, Shimzo, Diego D., P0 Tatamango, Doug F., N64 Dude 2000 inches, Philip K., Corio, Florence Chappelle, Gabriel B., G4 Bo, Griffin Weber, Ivan Maslev, Jackie S., Chortle, Joseph Pak, Laszlo T., Top Hat the Hat, Neelisa Silva, Xander Archibald, Zananer. Revisions Anthony Aceto, Aiden Gomez, Christopher Ye, Daniel Adam Valle, Joseph Pak, Laszlo T., Top Hat the Hat, Xander Archibald, Zananer. Video editing Joseph Pak. Cast Adam Katz, Nickel, Carrie Huang, Pin, Tennis Ball, Cindy Zhang, Pillow, Michael Huang, Book, Coiny, Fries, Pencil, Golf Ball, Pokey, Needle, Satomi Hanatsu, Bami, Balloony. Trivia General. This is the first BFDIA episode not directed by either of the Huang twins. This episode marks the chronological first appearance of Foldy, excluding Apiciat, who is seen as a recommended character. This is the final BFDIA episode to be released in 2024, as well as the final episode to have a confirmed release date for 2024. In universe, it is the final BFDIA episode of 2014. This is the third consecutive BFDIA episode to start with a scene of the Locker of Losers. This is the first time in BFDIA there are 5 teams competing at once, if Needle isn't counted as her own team. The teaser features Fries digging with the caption, "Oh, how the tables have turned," referencing how Fries usually commands others to dig rather than doing it himself. This is the first episode since Lots of Mud to release on the 1st of any month. It is also the first BFDIA episode to release in December. This is the second episode to include an epilepsy warning, with the first being Category 1. However, this time the warning is in the video's description rather than at the start of the video. The 16th word of this episode is string, so now the current secret message is, don't try that thing again, because it definitely won't work this time. Instead, you should string. This is the second episode where Tennis Ball wins the prize, after Taste the Sweetness. Balloony is the only loller to speak this episode. Balloony becoming the sole host may be due to Michael Huang joking at the Los Angeles 2024 meetup that he wanted Balloony to host Season 6. This marks the first time that the same character is up for elimination twice in the same episode. A few interesting details can be seen within the taped-together LOL residence. Due to her inability to speak, Teardrop's mouth is not taped shut. Rather, her hands are taped together, presumably so she can't fire her finger lasers or use sign language. Fiery Jr. is put inside of Bottle, likely because the tape would burn off of him. Bottle's hole is also taped up, possibly so Fiery Jr. doesn't escape. Black Hole does not have tape on him, presumably because he would suck it up. Instead, there is a roll of tape just orbiting him, and he obeys Balloony's commands. With Bami eliminated. It is his first elimination in universe, but second one overall. Coiny is now the only contestant to have a name ending in the letter Y, left to be still competing in BFDIA. There will be no more contestants competing in BFDIA that were voiced by Satomi Hanatsu. Continuity references. When the gold atoms collide in the cold open, they make an identical sound to the deuterium atoms fusing within Needle's cake in Bridge Crossing. When the contestants are playing with atoms, and after Book emerges from the water, Coiny rolls around like in Get Digging. Puffball is taped in a similar fashion to how she would get disabled in Fortunate Ben. During the scene when Nickel demonstrates his electric powers, he bounces on his balloons cycling through his IDFB intro poses. Said balloons have faces on them, continuing the gag of random items in the series having faces on them. The gas station Free Smart stops at is called Snow Minus Glue, which is a reference to the long-lost Yoil City, where Pencil points out that glue is the result of snow being mixed with gasoline. Nickel makes a reference to the hole Fries gave him last episode. Fries creates another hole, but Nickel rebukes him for making it triangular instead of rectangular. The face Pin makes before asking her team where they think the Free Smarters hid their trinket resembles Fiery's from when he called Book well read in Zeeky Boogie Doog. Tennis Ball says, okay, but in a mocking way, playing off himself saying it genuinely in previous instances. Fries appeals to Balloony by inflating a balloon. Contestants have previously appealed to the host in Sweet Tooth and today's very special episode. After Nickel sees the balloon for the first time, Coiny performs his signature pose from season 1. He makes the same pose after Pin says, "That sure sounds like me." The background during the scene where Pencil summons the rest of the Free Smarters is similar to the ones used for Coiny's close-ups when he encounters Needle and Ruby at the concert auditorium in Insectophobe's Nightmare 4. The montage of Pin and Coiny chasing the Free Smart Supervan throughout various locations is also a reference to the montage of Pencil, Ruby, and Needle chasing Golf Ball and Tennis Ball in said episode. Fries tries to convince Tennis Ball to dig, like he did to Bommy and Needle in Taste the Sweetness. However, Tennis Ball resists, like the former two in that episode. When Fries happens across a cave with Evil Leafy hidden inside, the decorations of the cave are slightly similar to Teardrops Island in Pointy Pointy Pointy, where Evil Leafy was seen last. The Supervan's radio being broken is a reference to the stinger of Take the Tower, where it was also broken, so Ruby and Leafy sang to each other. Fries being infected by Evil Leafy is a reference to the same thing happening to Flower in Zeeky Boogie Doog. Pencil says, "Chop chop," quoting herself in Spore Day, when she was trying to get Book to open. One of the prizes, the TB Family Reunion, is likely a reference to the running gag of Teardrop Family Reunions. The radio's screeching sound is taken from Adam Katz. There are two. Cultural references. The title of the episode may have been a way to capitalize on the film that released a week prior to the episode, Wicked. The recommended character, Pink Boombox, is a reference to the Next Play Glitz and Glitter Boombox, which is commonly associated with the formerly lost song known as Everyone Knows That, Ulterior Motives. The recommended character, Ramp Booster, who is used by Nickel to get Fries' balloon, resembles a ramp from the Mario Kart franchise. The recommended character, Evil TV, displays an error screen that originates from Adobe Premiere Pro. One of the challenges on the challenge wheel, cow tipping, references an urban legend where the activity of cow tipping involves attempting to push a cow over, which is near impossible in real life. The scene where Balloony's eyelids crushed the contestants may reference the trash compactor scene from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. When the rice is cut into pieces, a sound that is similar to the vine boom sound effect plays. The thunderstorm Nickel accidentally encounters with all of the balloons he has might be a slight reference to the Pixar movie, Up, in which the same sort of thing happens to the protagonists, Carl and Russell. The Free Smart Supervan driving underground and crashing through the dirt wall into the underground biome may be a reference to a similar scene from the VeggieTales episode, Larry Boy and the Rumor Weed, in which Larry Boy drills underground via the Larry Mobile to the sewers in order to find the mother weed. Fries says, "And now I'm gonna starve," after Needle crushes his dirt cake needle drop with her point, which could be a reference to the quote from Patrick from the SpongeBob SquarePants episode, Life of Crime. The boo-womp sound effect from said show is also played when Coiny mocks Fries for thinking his dirt cake would be underground. In terms of release date, this sound was previously heard in the TPOT episodes, Gardening Zero, and I Said Careful. The recommended characters, Richi, Nori, and Pawn, being next to one another references Battle for Rice, an object show made by Satomi Hanatsu that features 3 characters of the same names. It's also possible that the cake at stake prize, a single grain of rice, may have been referencing the prize of the show's first episode as well. Coincidentally, Balloony was the one to announce this prize, and he is voiced by Satomi. The free smart supervan driving through a cornfield might be a reference to the movie Interstellar, featuring a pickup truck also driving through a cornfield. The glowing biome Fries is on might be a reference to a similar Terraria underground biome. When Balloony refers to tennis ball as Tennessee, it is a reference to the U.S. state of Tennessee. The salmon-colored balloon that Fries chooses as his trinket may be a reference to Balloon, a character from Inanimate Insanity. Interestingly enough, Inanimate Insanity's Balloon has strong relationship with the Nickel from that universe. During this episode's competition, BFDIA's Nickel chooses to focus solely on tagging Fries' balloon trinket. Furthermore, Adam Katz, Nickel's voice actor and director for Inanimate Insanity, left a comment in BFDIA 16's YouTube video, saying, quote, "Silly Nickel, always chasing after a balloon." Goofs. At 0-100, the golden water droplet isn't on any of the leaves, despite being flung off of one later on. At 0-29, the tape on tennis ball's mouth does not go over his outline. At 3:06, Bommy is missing from the elimination place. When cutting the grain of rice, Coiny does 7 cuts, with one splitting the rice into 2 extra pieces. This would divide the rice into 9 pieces, but instead there are only 8 pieces of rice. At 4:14, Pin says, "Phew," with Bommy's voice. In the shot after the contestants hop off of the lull, Nickel is missing the triangular hole in his head. At 7:32, Nickel's mouth does not lip sync when he said the word trinket. At 14:34, during the line, "That's very distracting, evil Leafy," Fries' mouth briefly appears with a small missing section for 1 frame. At 15:41, for a split second, Pin's eye disappears. At 16:52, the free smart supervan has a noticeably lower quality than its surroundings. When Nickel approaches WOAH Bunch, he stands directly next to Coiny, yet a money portal doesn't start to form. Deaths. Book, Bommy, Coiny, Fries, Needle, Nickel, Pencil, Pin, and Tennis Ball get squished in Balloony's eye after he closes it. Pencil and Book get crushed by the free smart supervan. Fries and Coiny get electrocuted by Nickel's controlled static electricity and in Fries' case, is torn apart, but Fries later reforms.